Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Krish. Good evening.
Good evening. Just give me a second. I'm getting my charger.
Sure, sure. Let me know when you are done, okay?
Hello.
Hi, hi.
Hi.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
A little tired. Long day, Monday, but otherwise fine. Tell me something, Krish. Are you able to see the whiteboard?
Yes, I can.
And what do you think about my writing on it?
It's very clear.
Sorry?
It's very visible and clear.
Oh, no, no, no. I was asking for a comment on it, critical one.
Ah, I mean, the R is a little sloping. It looks a little bit like a P. That's it. Otherwise, it's all good.
Okay. So, yeah. I'm not good at writing on the whiteboard using the tools which are here online. So I was trying my best uh, just to welcome you to the class. Okay. So,
Yeah, I guess writing on whiteboards and screens, online screens are really hard because you have to use a
yeah.
trackpad. It's not really.
And I particularly do not enjoy it. So I'm going to switch to my PPT, which will help me deal better. So, has your school started already?
Uh, our exams start in May, but we have holidays today and tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow, day after, and today was, yeah, because it's spring break. So school starts on Thursday, but we have exams starting in May, first week.
You have exams in the first week of May, and that will be exams for grade 8 or 9.
Grade 9.
So, you are going to be promoted to grade 10 this year.
Yeah,
That means you are already studying the IGCSE curriculum, right?
yes.
Okay. So, tell me something. You must be doing first language English,
I'm pretty sure we are.
and no, if you are already in grade 9, you must be doing FLE.
Yeah,
Okay, and what about your literature? What are the texts that you're doing in paper 1 and 2?
yeah, just one second. I have a list of them on my phone.
Okay,
For poetry, we are for drama, we have Othello.
okay.
For poetry, we have, just give me a second. Uh, we have Pity Me Not Because the Light of Day.
Can you tell me
Um,
the name of the book? Is it Songs of
songs,
Ourselves? Which volume
yeah,
is
it's
it?
two, volume two.
You have volume 2, okay. Go on. What about your prose part?
It's Stories of Ourselves, volume two.
Okay.
We have for prose we have Library, then we have And Woman Must Weep, Then we have the tower. Then we have um, Dr. Heidegger's experiment. Yeah,
Okay, I'm just interrupting you once. So for from Stories of Ourselves, Volume 2, you have done Dr. Heidegger's experiment. You have
we're
done
currently
the
doing that.
tower.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you also mention the widow's mite?
No, we've not done that.
Okay. And for your poems, you said you have volume 2.
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. And you have only done Othello in your drama paper in grade 9, not the other one.
Yes.
Has your
What other
school,
ones? You only have
you are
Othello.
supposed to, you're supposed to have two texts for your IGCSE. So maybe your school
Oh,
plans
we
to introduce another one this year.
probably because we did Julius Caesar last year.
That might have been just to give you, a taste of Shakespearean five-act play, because Julius Caesar is not part of the IGCSE syllabus. The syllabus is quite comprehensive, right? We have two totally different sets of poems, and then there is another 15 poems. Each center does whichever they want to do. For drama, there are a choice of five dramas, and you have to do any two. For your prose section, you have a choice of, once again, seven novels and 10 short stories. So some schools decide to do the novels, some schools decide to do the 10 short stories. It's quite a mix, which is why I had asked you for the ones that your school was doing. Okay, so we will base this demo on FLE as of today. Let's get to know each other a little bit, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are all the options that you have. You may ask me any one, two, or three questions.
Um, what subjects do you teach?
I teach English language and English literature only.
What out of those two, which ones do you prefer, and which one do you find harder?
I don't find either of the two harder. I used to prefer teaching literature more at one point of time, but in my last 5 years as a Cambridge educator, I have learned to love to teach the language courses as well. It has opened up a very different dimension in front of me as a teacher, and it's very different from the what we understand by the language curriculum for the national boards. Cambridge language curriculum is vastly different from them. So I enjoy teaching language as much today. But since I am a literature major, I do have my own natural bias to it. But I enjoy language in general, and we cannot have literature without language. So I enjoy both.
Why did you become a teacher?
Good question. And the nth time I am answering this to so many people. But the first answer would be because I loved to learn, and I love to learn. I enjoyed myself as a student, but then I could not go on being a student for my entire life, right? So I decided to become a teacher. That way I could keep on learning all the time. That's
Uh,
one of the major reasons. Second being, I love to be with children, especially adolescents in your age group. Somehow it keeps me rooted to my school days, and also keeps me updated with the present times, which I would otherwise fall back on. So I feel that I can remain connected to the new times through my profession because I'm dealing with the new generation.
aha, that's cool.
Okay, anything else you want me to ask?
No.
Okay, so time for me now. Okay, so I know your name is Krish. So you have to give yourself an adjective using the first letter of your name.
Okay. So I don't know how to. There's very few adjectives with K. But maybe I'm the king of annoying people. People just tell me that you can annoy anyone.
Okay.
It's just it's just an art. I feel like once I get to know someone, I just find stuff that annoys them and then I use it to my advantage. I
Hmm.
know it's not the best way, but it just works.
Okay. So could you write down the particular adjective in the chat box?
Yeah, that is.
Okay, but king is a noun, right?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't think of anything else
Kingly,
with
maybe?
K. Yeah, king like. Kingly, yeah.
Kingly, king-like, anything, yeah. Okay, so round two. Two truths and a lie. Uh, take a minute, half a minute, and then you tell me two truths about yourself and one lie. Don't tell me which is which. I will
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
I hate I love sports. Uh, I love I love drawing
Hmm.
and math is my favorite subject. Oh shit, I said two lies by mistake. Uh,
Okay, okay, fine, fine. So I will try to identify the truth. You said you love sports, you love drawing, and maths is your favorite subject. So I have to guess which one is the truth. Um, I have no idea. I'll take
I
a.
love sports.
Okay.
Math is not my favorite subject.
That I thought.
Not by a mile. And I'm not artistic at all.
All
I
right.
can't draw.
So you are the sportsman. And what sports do you play and you like?
I'll play anything and everything as long as there are people to play with me. I love being outdoors. I love playing. I mean, quarantine has changed that for me, but now you've got to do what you got to do.
Hmm. I'm so glad to hear that you love to play outside, especially. So, are you in your school team? Any particular sports that you play?
I'm not in the school team. I'm better at cricket than I am at football and tennis. Those are the
Okay.
three sports I play. I swim, not professionally, just for leisure activities and also help me stay fit.
Hmm.
And yeah, I exercise from time to time. Like I go down, I'll cycle, I'll play cricket with my helpers.
That's
Uh,
nice.
So
Lots of physical activity for someone from your generation.
yeah,
Most of the boys whom I teach, they play video games.
I mean now everyone plays video games because of
Yeah.
quarantine. Even I've been victim to the whole video game craze because there's not much you can do, especially now with the lockdown again.
True.
You can't
So,
leave the house.
were you able to practice swimming during the lockdown? No.
Not at all. I mean, the 8 months which I was in Delhi, I was fortunate enough that my nani's house had a swimming pool. So I was able to swim over there until it got cold. But
Hmm.
otherwise, no.
Right. Okay. So, do you have a favorite sports person? An icon?
There's one for each sport.
Great. Tell me
For
about them.
football, it's Leo Messi. Like he's the greatest of all time, six Ballon d'Ors, and he makes football seem easy. He just has wizardry that comes out each time. Okay. Each time he touches the ball, and his left foot, it's unparalleled throughout the football world. He can take a shot from about 80 yards out and it'll still go in because it's magic the way he dribbles past people, shoots, cuts inside, makes passes, feeds balls to players. It's insane.
I can see you are in awe of Messi, like so many others,
hmm And
and
then for
rightly so.
cricket, it's AB de Villiers. Now he's retired, but IPL
Hmm.
is still there.
Yeah.
And we're able to see him, even though he may not be very expressive off the field, his cricket
Hmm.
does the talking for him. He's able to dispatch any bowler into the crowd when he pleases, and when he's on his game, there's no one that can stop him. Not even the best bowler in the world, like Mitchell Stark or Bumrah, can get him out. He single-handedly handed Mumbai the defeat on Friday when RCB won a sketchy situation, and that just demonstrated all his qualities as a batsman and as a cricketer.
So I got Messi, I got AB de Villiers. Anyone else?
Now for tennis, it's Novak Djokovic. I mean, watching him play, watching his determination to get back, to play, to get back to number one, even in the formats he's not comfortable with, especially, it's really cool. And seeing him hold on to the number one spot for so long, it's it's really magical. So yeah, these are my three favorite sports people.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing with me. If I had to ask you one common quality that you might want to emulate from these three sports people that you mentioned, what will be that?
They all have a winning mentality and they'll do anything to achieve their goals.
True. That indeed is the hallmark of champions. Okay. So let's go forward with our learning for the day. I have certain fun activities planned. So here you have 26 openings to all time great novels. I would want you to choose anyone.
Yeah, can you zoom in, please? I'm finding it a little
Yes,
hard to read.
sure. Is it better?
Yeah, The Hate You Gave by Angie Thomas. I shouldn't have come to this party. I'm not even sure I belong at this party.
All right. Uh, you notice, Krish, this is quite a contemporary opening, right?
Yeah,
2017. I would like for you to also choose an opening that you do not quite like.
that just caught my eye because I saw the year 2017 and that not there are not many great novels that are written recently, at least what I
Mm-hmm.
feel, because people before they had to think with themselves and use resources and use nature to come up with so many ideas. Now we're blessed with the internet, so it's so easy for anyone. Literally anyone can write a novel, and you won't even know if it's theirs because there's so many resources online available for you to take help from. It's the art of writing has been lost in this generation.
Quite an interesting comment. And I'm also happy to know that you are thinking about it. We can definitely talk about this another time, whether the art of writing has been lost or whether we can, rediscover it in a new way. But I'll stick to this as of now. So you did choose this opening. I want you to choose another opening from this given list that you don't like.
I mean, all of them sound interesting. I want to read A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I mean, it seems interesting from whatever I've seen.
That
So I'll read
opening
that.
line, yeah, please do. That is one of the iconic opening pieces, introduction of literature for times to come. Read it and then we can talk about it a little bit.
It
You want
was
me
the
to zoom
best.
it a little more?
No, it's
Okay.
perfect. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch,
Epoch, yeah, meaning
epoch
an
of
era. Era.
it, it was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. Very interesting.
Do you notice the year 1859?
The depression,
I will lead you to do your own research. I will not say, but because Charles Dickens was a Victorian writer, it's a very significant piece in history, definitely for England, Europe, and globally, because the 19th century and this is the mid 19th century, right? Industrialization was happening in a certain way, and that was bringing in a lot of changes for society, right? Charles Dickens himself had a difficult life. Growing up, he had his own kind of experiences, and they were not beautiful or smooth, to say the least. He experienced a lot as a young boy, and we do find autobiographical elements in different novels, but then he is a social commentator through his novels as well. A Tale of Two Cities focuses on two iconic cities once again. And the reason that you have this thesis antithesis format in this opening, this paradox, inbuilt self contradiction, is because it reflected the times that he was writing it in,
Uh-huh.
right? And I saw these lines being quoted last year in different forums when we were going through a totally unprecedented, unthought of time period with the novel coronavirus and the pandemic and the quarantine and the lockdown. So a lot of new things were happening, a lot of upscaling was happening, people were skilling up, and then there was a lot that was going downhill.
Uh-huh.
So we were coming up with mental health issues, we were coming up with a lot of space issues, work versus home and the adjustment, and the paradigm shifted last year. So on the one hand, we were not being able to go out and dine. People like you and me who are extroverts, who I'm assuming that you are an extrovert as well, because you said you like to
Yeah.
spend time outdoors. I am one of them as well. I love being outdoors. For that matter, I hate this. I mean, I would use the word hate, yeah. But then the thing is, it also gave me an alternative, right? To keep practicing my profession. Without the internet, without remote teaching and learning, I wouldn't have been practicing my profession last year. Like many teachers couldn't, like many students couldn't, because they did not have the infrastructure. Schools were shut for a year, right? They didn't have the infrastructure or the internet or the resources, and many teachers couldn't practice their profession. So as much as I love being in a classroom and seeing my pupils and learners in front of me and just participate in the energy all around, I don't have much to complain, because I at least could remain connected to them, and I'm meeting you today through this platform. As much as virtual and artificial it is, um, it's not that bad. It keeps the work going on. So, do you think that this portion is still applicable today? This happens to be the best of the times, and this happens to be the worst of the times?
I mean, I would disagree with it being the best of times because I personally find it very hard to learn and pay attention online. My attention span has gone from, let's say, 1 hour, 15 minutes to 45 minutes online
Okay,
because most teachers, they have not still adapted to the online learning and the online environment because they don't know what's happening with us. Because
true.
they're sharing their screens, they're annotating, they're writing, they're trying to tell us, and they just go on speaking and speaking and speaking and speaking. Whereas in school, they can gauge whether, oh, is he paying attention? Is he understanding? Is he is he blank? Does he know what's going on? Is he sleeping? Is he on cloud nine? Is he here?
True, true.
I mean, here you don't know people, like people even I know, they leave their computers on, go do something else, and then come back whenever they please. Teachers can't control that, whereas in school it's a controlled environment where there's
True.
focus on academics for 6, 7 hours a day, and you get to be with your friends. So as much as we say we all hate school, I mean, any teenager or any child would agree that school gives us that outlet to be away from home and to spend time with our friends and our classmates
So
and
true.
create new acquaintances and relationships that we'll remember all our lives. And as
Absolutely.
all adults will say and say today, school years were the best days of our lives. And we're really
Absolutely.
sad for y'all that y'all are doing it through this.
True, true. And I'm so glad to hear your reflection. And I have to agree with a lot of what you said. But then I would also like to add a comment in terms of I know many teachers are struggling with adaptation still now, and they end up speaking more than letting the learner speak or engage in discussion. So that requires training, that requires once again practice. The art of engaging learners into discussion online and making flipped learning work is also something that teachers have to learn every day. So it is a work in progress. As far as the gap is concerned, it's true. It's very true. We are still seeing each other when I am teaching in school because learners are attending 5 to 6 periods. They don't switch on the videos because they say that, ma'am, the data consumption is very high and we need to control that. So they keep their videos off. So literally, I had to adjust myself to teaching icons on screen and
True.
just familiarize with voices, right? I am into this profession because I love being with children, with people of your age, and I have to see their faces. I need to see their expressions, just like you said, right? But I had to develop a totally different system myself, where I had to adjust my method and let them express themselves through writing a lot and speaking a lot. So yeah, we did it our way, and it is definitely tough. And I totally respect your opinion when you say that you disagree it is the best of times. uh, what I was trying to navigate at was the relevance, the universality of the philosophy of these opening lines. Something that was written in 1859 can still be applied and talked about in 2021. So I have certain students who are loving it. So they're like, yeah, ma'am, we don't want the virus to be here. Like, the virus should go away, but this is cool. We get to do school as well. We are doing our assignments, and we get to play video games, and we don't have to go out. We don't have to wear the uniform. So they are happy with it. Some of them. Then there are others who have totally given up on this thing, and they're like, we don't want to do it anymore. So for some, it is the best of times. For some, it is the worst of times. And for some, they have just made their peace with it. So once again, it is an age of wisdom, yes, because we are learning so much. There is so much of new insight. And then again, it is an age of foolishness because so many of us have committed mistakes because we are learning, right? So that's a hallmark again for literature that remains to be universal through time and age. The first one that you had chosen, if you notice the structure, the way it is written, very short, not very short though, medium length, precise sentences, negatives, and there is an italicized word in belong. It's in first person narrative. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have come to this party. There's a gap. I am not even sure I belong at this party. There was some reason that you chose this, right? I want to hear that.
I feel that I've
Krish,
experienced.
Krish, Krish, just a minute. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Do you mind if I drink my tea?
Not at all.
Thank you so much. Yes, please go on.
I feel that this is also through personal experience. When someone you don't know and randomly just shows up, let's say I'm talking about this through experiences outdoors, like at the club. I'm talking to my friends, and then there's this new kid who comes to tennis. We don't know him, but what he feels is that he shouldn't have come here because he doesn't belong, he knows no one. But what's interesting about it is that you can either look at it two ways. One being you can get to know the people, or two, you can just give up and look the other way and just do what you have to do and leave.
Mhm.
But I believe that doing the first way and practicing, getting to know more people helps you get a long way, because then if you have a core group of friends and a core group of people that you can trust and that you can acquaint with, it will only help you and benefit you later on, because then you know that people will always be there to help you, and these people who you've known for tens of twenties of years are people you can trust, so that's great. And to add on to your point about the literature thing being everlasting, I feel
Mm-hmm.
that older pieces like written in the 1800s, 1900s, 2000s hold more merit and hold more value today than they did then, because the writers like Shakespeare, Dickens, they had such great minds that they put into use without any assistance, that they thought of all these scenarios that won't only be relevant to them but to all future generations down the line. Whereas people, what they do now is they only focus on the present, not on the future. So that's why I said the art of writing is lost, because authors and writers aren't able to make everlasting messages, and they aren't able to they aren't able to talk about the season of light or the season of darkness and the experiences that they went through to educate the other younger people who are going to read this or study the novels down the line. So I feel that's very sad, because I can't imagine a class of ours only learning about history, because then what's the difference between English and history class? Nothing. Because English language is so much deeper than just facts being spit out on a paper. You have to understand what the writer was going through, how it resonates with us today, why we're learning this, what
Mm-hmm.
exactly he was trying to tell us, and why, most importantly, why he wrote it down. Clearly meant something to him.
Correct.
So I feel that's been lost today, and that's why a lot of people my age just don't read anymore. I'm talking about that through experience. Like, I love reading all the old pieces, but we learned that in school, so I can't sit and read that at home also. So I mean, I don't read a lot. I just read the papers or
Mm-hmm.
whatever novel we're doing in school, and yeah, that's about it.
Uh, that's really insightful, and I enjoyed so much listening to you. Um, Another time, we will definitely talk about why the art of writing is getting lost, or why people today do not read as much, or why writing is not deeper in the way it was till one point of time. But then it's a vast topic in itself, because writing has changed and writing will always keep changing with the times. I don't know if you realize this or if anyone has spoken to you about this before, but then often we do not take into consideration the developments that happen in every age. And by that, I am referring to scientific and technological developments and innovations, as much as socio-cultural revolutions, right? All these things affect language. There is a reason Shakespeare wrote in a certain style, and Wordsworth wrote in a certain style, and Oscar Wilde wrote in a certain style, and James Joyce wrote in a certain style, and Ruskin Bond wrote in a certain style, and Jhumpa Lahiri is writing in a certain style. Language, and therefore by virtue of its literature, is a product of the times, and it's very much affected by everything that is non-literary or non-linguistic. If you look at the times we are living in, Krish, you have to literally struggle and make an effort to make out time for introspection and self-reflection, to be able to go deep into yourself, feel your own emotions, think about it, and maybe then express it, whether through writing or through art or through music. We are in a different time loop. We
Yeah,
are always in a hurry, right? And with the internet, with the mouse, everything is about the instant click. Where is the time for us to process our thoughts and feelings? The depth of language comes from that effort, that time that we spend with ourselves. Do we have solitude around ourselves naturally? No. There's so much of cacophony around us. I personally had to wait for 1.5 years before I could go on a vacation from which I returned last Tuesday. So I went during the Good Friday weekend.
Yeah.
Generally, I go to the hills in West Bengal because I'm from Kolkata. So we have the Himalayas over here in the North Bengal side. A lot of hill districts, Darjeeling and Kalimpong being the two main hill districts. So it's easy to plan a vacation because it's nearer to my city, and it gives me a chance to distance myself naturally from the city life that I live and I love. I love Calcutta. I love being a city person. I am an urban person that way. But it's very important for me to break from the cycle and go somewhere where I do not have to live the city life, to be able to reconnect with my inner side and think about things and write down things,
Yeah.
because in city the times are different. So yeah, so that's in a nutshell. But then
Mm.
if we go into literary analysis as to why today literature is written in a certain way than 200 years back, it's a totally different discussion, and we can have that some other time. Let's get to do some writing activity right now, and let's try and revive writing as an art. Okay. Okay. Have you ever come across this term, the
No.
tripartite structure? Okay. What do you think it means?
Try is three,
Yeah.
part is parts. I don't know. So it's
Yeah,
three
you're
parts.
correct. Absolutely. So, what I have done is I have blended two technical things together. What are they? The first one is a 6-word technique. 6-word technique is a technique that we use to train learners express with precision. Okay, so not too much, not too less, but precisely what we want to express. The
Hmm.
6-word technique helps us to use our best knowledge of vocabulary and be very concise with what we are trying to say, and makes our style very compact. All right.
Ah.
So first we will do the 6-word technique. I will do also along with you, and then I will enumerate on the tripartite structure. So let's choose a prompt. We will both compose a sentence on that prompt using 6 words. It will be a complete sentence. Uh, why don't you choose a prompt? Anything, any prompt.
Cricket.
Cricket, all right. So let's compose a sentence using 6 words on cricket. Okay, in the chat box we are going to write it. Go. Great. Okay, you have to give me some time because I'm still forming my sentence.
Yeah.
There is my sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very personal because I used to watch a lot of cricket when I was in school.
Hmm.
That was the era of Tendulkar, Ganguly, Dravid, Lakshman, that era, right?
The golden
So,
age.
yeah. So I was in school and I watched a lot of cricket as well. But then something changed with the Indian cricket team in the immediate years, and it was an era of change for me personally because I was going out of school and into college, and then life took a different course. I lost touch with cricket. So today I really do not know a lot about the present Indian cricket team. I follow time to time, but I cannot really say that I enjoy watching cricket matches anymore as I once did.
Do
Somewhere
you
I
watch
lost touch.
the IPL?
Not really. I watch the IPL if I can manage a ticket at the Eden Gardens
Hmm.
because it's really an enjoyable atmosphere. I did follow the IPL in its first few seasons when Kolkata Knight Riders had Ganguly as the captain those first few years. But then in the recent years, no. Like my friends watch, I know what's happening around, but watching cricket is something I have lost, right? So that was a very personal sentence, right? And so you see, Krish, both sentences have their own mood. It has their own tone, right? Yours is what a beautiful shot from Tendulkar, and is that spelling deliberate? Is it a
Uh,
deliberate short form?
no, it was a typo.
Okay, so you end it with an exclamation mark, right? Evidently, the mood is of excitement, jubilation, happiness, all of that, right?
Yeah.
That very sentence has a voice, implied voice, because somebody is exclaiming. That gives us an atmosphere, a mood, and you can build on it to create a setting. I'll come to it when I come to the tripartite structure. If you look at my sentence, 14 years ago, I enjoyed cricket. Is the tone, the voice, the mood same as the one created by your sentence?
It's yours is reminiscent, like remembering the old times.
Definitely, it's reminiscent. Would you say it's slightly melancholic or sad, maybe?
I think
De-
so a little. Maybe you missed the feeling in the adrenaline rush of watching a cricket match.
hmm. So, we have two sentences, two very different voices and moods that are being expressed through the two sentences. This is what writing is about, analysis of writing is about. Now we will build on it. So, what we are going to do is we are going to develop our first sentences into a short story. This story will have three sentences, which is why the tripartite structure. Okay, so up to
Uh,
you how you want to develop it,
can the
but
stories, the sentences have to be how long? 6 words?
uh, it will be good if we can stick to 6 words. I will grant plus minus three or four, but it has to be in three parts, three sentences. Okay, together.
The sentence that I put first, like what a beautiful shot from Tendulkar, does that have to
Hmm.
be my first sentence?
Yes. So you
Uh,
will develop two more in such a way that together the three will tell a story.
yeah.
And I'll do the same.
The last sentence is supposed to have an exclamation mark instead of a full stop. I made a mistake.
You can change it. Oh, you're talking about your first sentence?
No, I'm saying I just submitted my responses. The last
Oh,
sentence I've written, what a way to retire from this glorious spot, supposed to have an exclamation mark.
okay, but I cannot see your submission. Have you pressed enter?
Yeah, it's already said.
Why don't I see it? I'm still
I
writing
can
mine.
send you a picture on WhatsApp if you want.
No, no, it's okay. Just hold on. I should be able to see it. I'll just complete mine. Okay, Krish, are you able to see mine? The
No,
two in the chat, you can't?
no,
That is very strange because I cannot see yours.
now can I see yours? Lovely. I can just forward it to you on WhatsApp.
That you can, but why would this chat option not work?
I have no
So,
idea. We
yeah,
can we refresh it or something?
should be able to. There is a refresh button over here somewhere. Yes, I'll just refresh it.
Hello?
Hello. So I pressed the
Yeah.
refresh button. They sent me outside the classroom, and now everything is lost from the chat.
Oh, I can send mine again.
Yeah, please do. Okay. What a beautiful shot from Tendulkar. Wow, he has smoked that one. What a way to retire from this glorious sport. Okay. See, this very language register is today's language. Yes,
Yeah.
that one, right?
Yeah, that's a very common cricketing term, like Nasir
Common.
Hussain, Ian Bishop, all these guys, all these iconic cricketers who have now turned commentators used it. So, I mean, whenever I'm talking about cricket and someone's hit a beautiful shot like a six or a boundary, you say he smoked that one. I mean,
Mhm.
so
So that's very
it
2021.
yeah.
Yeah. When Navjot Singh Sidhu used to be a commentator, he used a lot of similes and metaphors. He had real good grip on the language. So he would compare cover drives and shots that went across the boundary, over the boundary with beautiful similes. Once he compared some bowlers' actions, that bowler was getting a lot of wickets. So he said that the bowler is getting, wickets like popcorns on fire. Okay, so yeah, so that he used a lot of simile and metaphors that way. Okay, so right now you see you have just learned to use the 6 word technique to form the tripartite structure. We can keep practicing these things in our own way and using different language registers, deeper ones, more formal ones, to practice our own writing and development. So I'll go on to the next activity for today. I have to share my screen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you share your sentences also? I was not
Yeah,
able
the
to see them.
thing is, I lost it. So I'll tell you what I had written. I was going to take a picture, then I pressed refresh and everything got lost. So what I had written was 14 years ago, I watched cricket. A 90s child I celebrated Ganguly, Tendulkar, Dravid. T20 has changed that today.
Ah, yeah, T20 has really changed the game because now people are saying T20 is too long. They have T10.
I did not know this.
Yes, people are saying T20 is too long. So now they've created T10 leagues.
I had absolutely no idea about that. Thank you for sharing. So you see, Krish, you were telling me about attention span, right? This is the thing. The time has changed. People do not have the patience to watch a T20 match.
My friends, they're like, oh, one day internationals are too long. I'm like, what do you mean too long? Like, I can't sit through it. I'm like, excuse me?
So yeah.
I
So
mean, I'm the kind of person who sit and watch a test match also
you
without
are
touching my
an
phone.
you are an exception among your peers today. I can understand that. Nobody has so much of patience with time today anymore. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
very sad. Test
yeah,
matches are literally dead now. There's no one in the
true.
stands.
I am from that generation where I would wait at the tea shop outside my school gate to see as much as I could see for a test match before the final warning bell would ring at the school, and I would have to hurry to get inside. That was the craze for test matches. And the particular one I'm referring to is the India Australia ODI in 2001,
Oh,
where Harbhajan Singh got his hat trick at the Eden Gardens, right? And yes,
ironic that
I was in grade
Harbhajan Singh
7 then.
now Harbhajan Singh is now playing for Kolkata in the IPL. I mean, it's funny now that he won't, even though he's playing for Kolkata, he can't play at the Eden Gardens because the IPL changed its rules for this year. Since they're only
Oh,
having 6 venues, there'll be no teams that will be allowed to play at home because Rajasthan and Punjab, they don't have home ground. So they said
oh.
that they're assigning everyone neutral venues.
Hmm. See, so much is changing even with the format of the game. And this is why I am a teacher, because all of you keep me updated with such things which I cannot follow for myself because I've got other stuff to do. Evaluation and designing resources being primary among them. Okay, yeah. So let's go to the next activity right now. But your friends being unable to sit through T20 is really a matter of concern.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, they'll be like, yeah, we're watching IPL. Then 2 minutes later, on Instagram. Another 5 minutes later, oh, Snapchat. I'm getting bored, help me. And then another 10 minutes later, oh, yeah, let's see YouTube.
That's so millennial. Very true. Cannot blame the generation. There is so much happening on the virtual space, and younger people, they want to explore, right? So many platforms. So it's a real challenge, and there has been research conducted at Stanford University where it has been concluded that one of the top skills in demand in the 21st century is going to be attention.
Ah,
Attention is going to prove to be a skill that is going to be most probably written or demanded on resumes and CVs, because it's a very important life skill, and yes, it's changing. So we do need to strike a balance.
I mean, personally, for me, if it's something interesting and something that I enjoy doing, I can give 100% attention and focus to it. And until it's perfected, I won't leave it. If it's
Mhm.
something I don't enjoy, on the other hand, yeah, let's do something else. Let this just happen.
Totally get you. Yeah. So it does depend a lot on the way we think and we are as well. I relate with what you said because that's pretty much my way as well. If I enjoy, I will go on doing it. If I don't, I'll not even do it. But then in this era of multitasking and using multiple tabs, uh, we do need to train ourselves in that out of balance as well, right? Because see, WhatsApp has also become an official channel. So
Yeah.
even as I'm replying to some official group, There are my friends maybe writing something, sending some video that's popping up at the same time on that screen, that interface,
Exactly.
right? So,
That's the main problem with online school right now. If a teacher sends you something, maybe on WhatsApp or a chat, there's going obviously there's going to be a group with you and your friends. And then
mhm,
when your friends open it, every one person at least get the urge. Oh yeah, let's say hi. And then you can't not say hi because then you'll feel like you are online. You will reply to
exactly,
me.
exactly. So, dividing and managing our attention across these platforms is something that's challenging, but I'm sure we can figure our ways out. So, this is something that we will do and end our class for today with. Uh, I'm going to show you this poem. It's by T.S. Eliot. Have you heard his name?
No,
Okay,
I may have forgot, but I don't
no,
recall his name.
no problem. So T.S. Eliot is one of the iconic modern poets, right?
By modern, how
Mod,
50, 60
yeah,
years old?
no. By modern, when we say modern poet in literature, especially English literature, we are referring to the early 20th century.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
That's modern. This era.
Yeah, that is modern. There is a reason that is modern. I will not go into that now. And 1950s onwards, or more specifically, says 1960s onwards, is postmodern. And this era that we all are living in, not only this, it has already started sometime back, is also called post-colonial. So we have brands of literature that is defined as post-colonial literature, post-modern literature, modernist literature. T.S. Eliot is part of the modernist literature. So when you read this poem, maybe you can understand a little bit why it is a part of modernist literature. And if you compare this with a Wordsworthian poem, or say Tennyson's poem, you get the difference. This poem is a certain way, in the way the sentences are written, the images which have been created, the style in which it is narrated. Very different from a poem by Wordsworth. If you think about daffodils, right? I wandered as lonely as a cloud, and 10,000 saw I at a glance. Very different content, very different style. And this is very different and shifted from that. Okay, so what you will do right now is fill in these blanks with adjectives and images of your choice. Make sure that whatever word you are putting in the blank fits the meter, meaning the rhythm remains, right? So it's a free exercise. Once you have done it, then you can tell me which are the words you're putting in the blanks. And we will see how far you are shifted from the poet's original vision, or how much you actually maybe resonate with him.
The winter evening settles down with a smell of steaks and passageways, 6 o'clock, burnt end of. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so you can just read it with your own words.
The winter evening settles down with smell of steaks and passageways, 6 o'clock, the burnt out ends of sorrow days, and now a cold shower wraps. The metal scraps of withered or off.
Of withered leaves.
I read all withered leaves, that's why. Ah, the green scraps of withered leaves about your feet, and newspapers from vacant lots. The shower beat on the colored blinds and chimney pots. And at the corner of the street, A young cab horse steams and stamps.
Nice. So let me just repeat it once. The burnt out ends of what days?
Sorrow days.
Sorrow.
Yeah.
Sorrow.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, in a poem, we can have the poetic license to use sorrow days, but otherwise, it should be sorrowful in the correct application, right? Because
Yeah.
sorrowful is the adjective. So I accept sorrowful that way because I get your idea. And now a cold shower wraps the metal
The
scraps
no, no,
of
the
with.
green scraps. I read. Oh, that's why. So I changed it to green scraps
Why do you want to have green instead of metal scraps?
because I read all weathered leaves instead of off withered leaves. So metal scraps does not make sense
Why not?
whatsoever. Metal scraps of withered leaves. I don't think so. I don't think it
Okay,
fits.
no problem. So the green scraps of withered leaves about your feet and newspapers from vacant lots. The showers beat on color blinds. You said right?
Colored.
Colored.
Yeah.
Ed.
Yeah.
Colored. Okay. On colored blinds and chimney pots, and at the corner of the street, a young cab horse steams and stamps.
Yeah.
Great. Perfect. So you had a certain vision in your mind when you were creating this poem, filling in the missing out pieces. Let's see what the poet had in his mind. So, the burnt out ends of smoky days, and now a gusty shower wraps the grimy scraps of withered leaves about your feet and newspapers from vacant lots. The showers beat on broken blinds and chimney pots, and at the corner of the street, a lonely cab horse steams and stamps, and then the lighting of the lamps. I had intentionally not given the last sentence. Tell me, Krish, do you realize any difference between the poem that you created and the poem that T.S. Eliot had written?
He's talking about a very sad time and a time where everything, where he was probably lonely, and
Mm-hmm.
him comparing himself to the lonely camp horse that steams and stamps at the corner of the street.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about the broken blinds and chimney pots, basically saying that people didn't have many financial means and they weren't especially rich. He's probably talking about the middle class people that didn't couldn't afford to repair their chimney pots and broken blinds.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's talking about the winter evening that shows it's a very sorrowful time and a dark and gloomy time. So that creates a gloomy atmosphere. 6 o'clock is when nighttime strikes. So he's saying that this is an age of darkness.
Okay.
Smell of steaks in passageways shows that not you don't normally associate steak with passageways. It shows that people are hungry. They're not getting enough food. That you're smelling the steaks in the passageways. The burnt out edge of smoky days shows that it's filled with war and carnage and destruction because smoke's normally given off when there's an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me the idea of destruction. A
Okay.
gusty shower wraps so that it's not a calm pitter patter. It's actually a huge storm, like it's all coming down at once. The
Very
grime,
interesting. I like your interpretation.
the grimy scraps of withered leaves about your feet shows that the plants they're not being maintained properly, and people are out of jobs and people don't have money. Like I said, to
Mm-hmm.
repair they're broken by the chimney pots. How will they have money to maintain their own plants and trees? And the newspapers from vacant lots shows that people are scared of the war, the carnage and destruction that they won't even go out of their house to get the newspaper to actually understand what's going on. So yeah, that's my interpretation of all this.
Beautiful. This is your interpretation of the original poem. You remember the one that you created, right?
Yeah.
How is that different?
I was thinking sorrow days because the winter evening settled down. Like I said, it gave me that gloomy idea. So I thought, let me write sorrow, like you said, sorrowful, which is a correct grammatical connotation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorrowful days. Now, gusty of now gusty shower apps. I was thinking a cold shower because cold signifies gloomy and not warm. It doesn't give you that sense of warmth or that sense of feeling at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote green scraps, which shows that it's quite recent.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking that's happened recently. Showers beat on colored blinds. I saw that the colored blinds will give a sense of hope and a sense of meaning for the people in the town or in the village to look at and give them that hope. Oh, yes, there are better times ahead. And
Lovely.
I wrote a young cab that shows that the sense of youthfulness and the jovial nature of the cab that's contrasting the whole gloomy atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I thought of.
Lovely. So what I see is, Krish, you do have a latent sense of reflection and a penchant for literary and language analysis that can be shaped very well. You have original imagination. You can picture mentally, and you can analyze between and differentiate between your own imagination and somebody else's imagination. So that's really nice. I loved listening to your interpretation. I'll
Thank
stop
you.
here for the day. You said that you do not read much beyond your textbooks, but
I don't read at all beyond the textbooks, to be honest, unless it's the odd article about what happened last
mhm,
night and about sports. And I mean, personally, for me, when I scroll through social media, I get so much news as it is. There's no
yeah,
sense now even reading a newspaper. Those are also going to become extinct, I
very
think,
true,
soon.
very true. Yeah. Like I told you, as much as I started loving teaching language and therefore nonfiction, when it comes to fiction, right, something that's purely imaginative, it has its own beauty. So maybe you can start with, reading short stories. That's a very nice genre to get started with. You will get a lot of resources online, and it can take you some time before you find out the author whose work and writing you like to read.
I
But
personally
once,
like mystery and suspense and crime, heist.
okay, okay, that's great. You can check lit charts. You will get a lot of crime writers over there. I don't know if you have read Jeffrey Archer.
No,
uh, you haven't, you can try. He is a good writer, good storyteller, has written on crime as well. If you have not read Agatha Christie, you can try. Classic stuff, writes on crime again. And apart from mystery crime, which you like, just to get a flavor of literature and, just to think deeper maybe and reflect on that, you could try reading poetry. There are lots of modern young poets writing.
yeah,
So you could read the poem that was recited by Amanda Gorman at Joe Biden's presidential inauguration. It's very contemporary, but it has got a lot of merit in it. And you and because the internet has lots of resources, if you navigate through it, you might actually come across good resources which you will love to read for pleasure. And personally, if I had to give you a suggestion, I would say you could try reading Khaled Hosseini's novels, to start with, The Kite Runner, and then A Thousand Splendid Suns, just to enjoy the power of literature. I have a feeling you will like it. Khaled Hosseini. Okay? So I'll take my leave today. Thank you, Krish, for joining in.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.